I also thought it's an opportunity to have impact on 250,000 people instead of only the Benelux.
Do you miss sometimes business and operations?
Nou ja, I'm in business. Huh?
Yeah, sorry.
I miss sometimes operations, yes, of course,
yes.
of course.
Hi, I'm Nicholas. I work in marketing at 360 Learning. This YouTube channel is for L&D executives who want to have a business impact and want to change their employees' life. And how could we illustrate this better than having Caro Van Eekelen with us? Caro was the first female country CEO at Accor, and she's now the Global Senior VP of Learning and Development. Why did she make such a move? This is what we're going to find out. We'll talk with her about learning, culture, operations, and we'll end up the interview with more questions from you guys. Let's get right to it. Hi Caro.
Hello.
So thank you for having us today. It's really nice to finally meet you. We are here in Bercy Pullman, right? Mm-hmm. Can you tell us why you picked this hotel?
Yes, we are here in Pullman Bercy. I choose this hotel because at Accor Hotels we are doing a lot of things. Reinventing hospitality, more or less, and I think this hotel is a good example, because if you come in, you see the check-in, for example, it's a completely different experience. You have straight away the lobby area, which is completely different than what it used to be in the past, so that's why I thought it was a good place to go.
Great. Let's start with questions for you and your background. So you're now the Senior Vice President of Learning and Development and Transformation, right? But can you tell us what you did before that?
Yeah, my whole experience is between HR and operations. So I think what that has in common are people, right? So I think with great teams you can achieve great things. So that's why I make those switches, in fact.
And how did you decide to go from an operation management role to more HR or learning oriented?
In fact, what happened in the Benelux, we knew that we had to change a lot in hospitality. We are at that time we were 40 years, roughly 42 years in the company existed, and we were very brand oriented, and it was very strict. So it was very standardized. Okay. And we knew that guest expectations were changing and that we needed much more personalization, and that also for our employees. The employees were millennials, they want different things than the traditional hotel career. I started to do different things. I didn't always listen to Paris, to be completely honest. So in operations you can also try and find your way a little bit to do things. Okay. So we set up a new way of recruiting, like putting a movie on internet and then just see who's reacting, put it on social media, etc., etc. And we were very successful with that. And we really gave Accor a different image. So I got noticed more or less by Paris. So when Arantxa Balsen came, she asked me if I wouldn't like to work for global in HR. So that was a tough decision because I like to be in operations, but I also thought it's an opportunity to have impact on 250,000 people instead of only the Benelux. Yeah. So that's why I more or less did it.
Okay. So for the next topic, which is like learning, it must be quite a challenge. How do you make it possible to have an impact on so many people in so many countries?
When you come to a job, the best you learn is how to do it and do it with the other, right? Yeah. So that's a big part of learning of our employee experiences at the beginning in the hotel. Then of course we have the brand trainings, we have leadership trainings, we have job-specific trainings like revenue management, like all the expert jobs. And what we tried to do, because I started only a year ago, and all the regions were more or less free with their own L&D offer. Okay. So we counted how many programs we had, and we had roughly about 1,500 programs, which we are starting to align now. Okay. We work at this moment to work on the leadership programs, for example. We are looking at all the levels and try to put our culture in there. We have the transformational programs, which are really working at the culture. We call it the Heartist journey. Okay. We have the brands, of course, and then the job-specific trainings, which we are working on at the moment. Okay. And then next to that, we work on a platform where we can put this offer and we want to get it on the mobile, so the 250,000 can touch learning day by day whenever they want.
Yeah. All these people and all the countries will be on the same platform?
That's
ideally?
what we want, yeah, that's
Okay.
what we aim for. We want, our aim is to make learning a way of life.
In the title, in your title, there is like L&D and also transformation. Why do you have both? How did it happen?
Now, yeah, when I came to Paris, I was learning and development was not my part, so I came for the cultural transformation.
Okay.
So that's why it's still there, because now it's part of it. Because it's transformation is also learning, a lot of hard learning. Yeah, that's transformation, in fact. So I started with that, and I'm still in charge. So that's why it's still there.
And the learning and development part, how do you feel about it? Like, is it like challenging for you? Is it new and exciting? I guess both.
It is new. It is always exciting, and it is. Yeah, I'm a person who likes to change and move things forward, and I think the L&D and our academies needed some change.
So yeah, you have academies, right? So can you tell us about the academies that you have now and how you want to
Evolve.
Yeah.
We had 18 academies, but in those academies you had one who was serving 18 hotels, and one who was serving 1,500 hotels.
Okay.
So the way they worked was completely different. The way they proposed their offer, the way they calculated their offer, the way the rollout, completely different. So what we put in place first is in fact a governance of the whole learning and development with the academies together. So we nominated 5 regional academy heads. We have 5 regions, so we have Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific, North America and South America. So there's one person in charge now for all the academies which are under there. And then we have a global team, and in the global team we have the transformation, we have the brands and other projects, we have the top line businesses, like revenue management, etc. We have somebody responsible for all the digital learning tools, because that of course is another transformation for us. We were a lot in classroom trainings, but we want to digitalize much more. And we have the corporate academy for the people who are working in the offices, in the regional offices. So, and this is the team where we work on the revamp of our academy. And we decide everything together. So it's not Paris is deciding, or in aspect we do it like this and we're not going to change, or etc. etc. It's really like we wrote the plan together. We said what are the priorities, how do we regroup our courses, where do we become digital, how can we make much more blended learnings. And then of course next to that we develop this platform where we want to put our offer on and seeing what and all our digital journeys as well.
What is now to you the most challenging thing about the mission that you're taking?
Oh,
I guess there are lots, but
the main thing in fact is giving access to giving access give the people access to learning, to materials, and that they can access it. Because today, if you look, we aim to give everybody 1 day of training a year, roughly, in time. But a lot of people have a few days and others have nothing. And I think that's not fair. So everybody should have access. So that's our main challenge with this platform. Do we get there, and are people going to use it, and is it good enough what we offer? Is the peer-to-peer going to work? And then next to that, another challenge is the co-design aspect of the work, which is very difficult, by the way. It's not easy to put people around the table, and we do it on top of that on distance. But the content is so much richer, and perhaps it takes more time, but at the end you come up with much easy to deploy stuff, because you have the buy-in already. You understand much more the cultural differences. You have great discussions on content. And it also gives this team spirit, if I may say, where people accept that others give input, that you can react. So it's also learning on a personal level, because in the beginning it's not easy. You come up with your own ideas and you want to push your own ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
And in co-design you really have to let it go, because you have to listen to the other too.
Yeah,
and
exactly. And so you're co-designing with the regions,
the regional people who are working in the academies, but also operations.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so they really express their needs, they check if everything is in there, what they need, they give ideas. So no, it's really co-design operations, experts in L&D, and that's how we do it.
Yeah, and about that, I'm interested to know a little bit more with the link L&Ds have with business and operations. You have to prove that you have an impact, especially for the operation guys. Yeah. How do you do that?
Yeah, that's also a very good one, because often what we see is that at the end of a training, classroom training, we ask how was the experience, and then everybody's wow, right? Trainer great, people great, food was great, especially in hotels, of course, food was great, rooms were great, everything is great. But then, when they go back into operations, is there really an impact? And that is also a commitment we took, that we really want to measure impact also after 3 months. So you check, of course, at the end if everything is fine, but after a period of time, you ask the management and the people themselves, like, did it have an impact on your day-to-day job? Because otherwise you better stop, right?
Is your team able to answer all the requests from the operations?
I don't think we can reply in this stage to all, because we first redo all the global programs. So we cannot do all at the moment, no. So we have to set priorities, and if that's your question.
Yeah, and how do you do it?
By deciding together, like I explained to you, with the 5 regional heads. And also, you have to look at the strategy of the company, right? Because you also want to be this business partner, that when a big strategic project is coming up, they always need to train people, right? So there you have to partner with them. So you link those projects with the projects you have already on the table, and then specific smaller needs of certain regions or whatsoever. In the regions, we let the academies deal with those needs. But we globally, we really set priorities. Like, we cannot do everything, you know, because that if you want to be qualitative work, then you cannot do everything. No, that's clear.
Because you were talking about the NPS, like as a key ratio of success. Do you have like others that you monitor?
Of course, if you have, if you talk about this revenue management, of course we look at the evolution of the RevPAR, of the market shares, of that kind of things, to see if there's impact. Each time we look in advance what the learning objective is and how we can measure it to see what the impact is. So sometimes it's the NPS, sometimes it's business results, it can be anything.
Let's talk about the culture. If I understood correctly, you also have this in the scope you took recently, right? Can you tell me what's your view about this? What's your...
And I have a belief that you cannot do a digital transformation if you don't have a cultural transformation. It starts all with people. You can throw as many new digital tools, whatever you want to use, into operations and whatsoever. If you don't give a meaning or a sense or a purpose to what you are aiming for, digital transformation will never work.
Okay.
Because digital is often an enabler to do something. So we took the thing a little bit differently, and we said we need to change because guests are changing, their guest expectations are changing, they want more personalization. So we have to get rid of our standardization, which we definitely had in all brands, and we have to free up the people to really get this interconnection with the guest, where they feel free to do that, which is not an easy one, by the way.
I read on, I think it was your LinkedIn profile, that you value entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And since I was an entrepreneur before, it made me think how important it is to you to have this kind of
spirit.
profile. Yes.
I think entrepreneurship is taking about is taking initiative, is ambition, right? And I think each hotel director is an entrepreneur. He is in his environment. He has results to make. He has people to his who are there, who have to be developed, who have to deliver a good guest experience, good results, etc., etc. For me, it's a business unit. And also for me, the academy learning at Accor Hotels you could see as a business unit. It's like, what is your value proposition? That's for each department in Accor Hotels. What is your value proposition? Why do people come to you? Who are your clients? So for me, that is entrepreneurship. It's about daring, it's about innovating. Are you the best? What is happening in learning in the world? I mean, that's something we should ask ourselves, right? And see where we can improve, where we can also leverage. And that is entrepreneurship, right?
We have some questions from our community.
Yeah.
We have this question. So this Keith is asking, do you have concrete examples of actions you do to prevent employee turnover?
Yes. So when we were talking about the hardest journey, we also work on the optimal employee experience. So we also measure, because I was talking about the NPS, but in fact we are also checking employee engagement. But employee engagement we only measure once a year, so it's not so easy to see the impact. So we think if employee engagement is high, your turnover goes down. So that's for us a very, very important part. Then we have the whole onboarding. So there is the hardest for new people, the new hardest day, and we have the brand immersion, and with that, and then help them on board during 6 months. We really follow up the first 6 months because that's where you lose the most.
Yeah, okay.
We try to bring down this turnover.
Do you miss sometimes business and operations?
No, yeah, I'm in business. Huh?
Yeah, sorry.
I miss sometimes operations. Yes, of course,
yes,
of course. And then I'm in operation. Well, so in operation, it is so many different things, so many different stakeholders, so many different things to do in the day, which come up just like that, which makes it very exciting. But this is also nice. This is also good, and also a lot of things are popping up.
This question from Cynthia. What part of the budget is allocated to presential and digital learning?
Oh, we don't look at it like that.
Okay.
So today I can say that 80% is perhaps classroom, but with the new platform and the global programs which are more blended, we want to stay at the same number of classroom trainings, but we want to add the peer-to-peer and the digital part. So in fact our offer will grow, but will not diminish the presence. Okay.
So were there some challenges in your career being a woman?
Oh yeah, of course. What do you think? Yeah, often I was the only one in meetings or whatsoever. Oh yeah, and when you are only one, it is really, really tough. Then you say something and you are not listened to. You are just no. So yeah, there were some difficulties, but was not a reason to skip or to quit or whatsoever, because bit by bit there were more women coming, and then at a certain stage it got even hot, so it became an advantage. So that was very funny, because when you are the first, and then people realize that it is important, you get invited everywhere, because they don't have that many women to invite in work groups or whatsoever. So you can almost participate in everything. So there was also the swap, in fact.
Okay. I have another question from William. Do you think L&D executives should have a role in talent acquisition?
Of course the answer is yes, in fact. Because you could say, okay, you hire and we then give the tools to make it what it has to be. But it's not completely like that. We see, for example, in the past, in hospitality, you needed people who can work on the computers, who spoke 4 languages. Well, that's still the case, by the way. but very technical profiles we were looking for. While today you need personalities. So that also evolves your training program. So if you hire personality and has to go behind the reception, then you have to be quickly capable of giving those technical skills to be comfortable and do the check-in, check-outs, etc., etc. So yes, it's very important that those two speak, because then you can straight away work on the successful onboarding, and then finally we can go to the other question. You will have less turnover, right? Yeah, definitely, William is right.
Cool. And we have one last question. What's next for you?
Ooh!
Yes.
No, yeah, I just started here, so
I
give
know.
me some time. Give me some time on this. And then we will see,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was a real pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, me too, Nicola.
And yeah, good luck with all the great project you have, and I guess we'll see you at HDD.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want, you can download the audio transcript of the video in the description below. For the next episode of a Sit at the Table series, I will interview the new CHRO of Doctolib that just raised $150 million for a more than $1 billion valuation. So a lot of great challenges ahead. So stick around now, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!